take Brandon in California. Brandon, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello. You're on with Jamie
okay.
and V. Glad to hear it.
I didn't think I was going to get on this fast.
Yeah. Well, people think that I'm harder to please than I am, apparently.
No. I just mean that you guys take theists over atheists.
It's true, but also I'm in the left chair, so I take whoever I want. Snap. So it says here that you have problems with the concepts of death and that you need advice.
Yes. So on the death stuff, my problem. Well, I mean the problem of death being that you
Die? Or sorry.
you die and your brain stops working.
Right.
And the idea of becoming nothing, I guess, is my problem. Mm-hmm. And the bigger problem with it is that I have diagnosed OCD.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how I am, but and when I say OCD, it's not the I don't have compulsive OCD where they wash their hands a lot and touch doors, but not to downplay that. I have the obsession kind.
Okay.
So I really obsess over things.
I understand more. I have diagnosed. I joke and I say it's diagnosed OC because it's not diagnosed as a disorder, though examined, but it's certainly an acknowledgement of compulsive behaviors by a mental health professional. So, for example, when I came in, I rearranged the chairs in the audience. But I feel you, bro. Is I guess the point I'm trying to make there.
Yeah, I don't have the compulsion one, but sorry to hear that.
No, you're good. Yeah, don't obsess about it.
Oh yeah, that definitely will work.
Sorry. So with the with death, yeah.
Yeah. So my problem is I have with my OCD thoughts, I have a need for a solution. And the problem is with death, there's no real solution. It happens.
It does happen, but it might be the case that it's not a problem to be addressed, or not a thing to be examined as a problem.
Right. I guess my question is, what kind of a solution are you looking for, apart from the fact that...
I don't... Oh, sorry.
No, go on. I just wanted to know, what would be a solution for you in this case?
Well, honestly, I don't think there is a solution, and that's the problem I'm having.
Well,
is that sorry.
Is it so? Let me ask more about what makes death a problem, right? Like, obviously, it's not something that's desirable, right? If it was a goal, it could be easily achieved, because humans are frail, weak meat sacks. But it's not a pleasant thought to be aware of, the demise of the body, the mind, all of this. Not that those are separate, but what makes it a problem?
It's like thinking of the idea of being nothing. And the problem is with the OCD, it's like I can't stop thinking about that.
So
all the time.
I understand that. The way that you're phrasing it, I think, identifies what the trouble is, because you won't be nothing, right? Yeah. You will be, and after that will have always been Brandon. I mean, well, okay, on this on this clip, you will always be Brandon from California. And you will have always been born, and you will have always died, and that will be your existence. And the end of that existence is troubling, but...
Yes, I guess what I mean is my consciousness. My consciousness is going to stop. And the idea of my consciousness stopping is what's so painful to think about.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But you won't be aware that your consciousness had stopped.
Like, no, I know.
It's eventually it's not, you won't feel it. Like, it's not something that you will experience ever. Like, that's never, ever going to be your experience of your consciousness being nothing. Because as soon as your consciousness goes away, that's it. You don't have to worry about experiencing that.
Yeah. I know, but, and not to, I mean, to say not to worry about it, but.
Well, I think that I'm projecting here a little bit, but I think that I understand where you're coming from a lot. Because the solution of like, okay, well, the part of, time where your consciousness no longer exists after having existed can, one, be compared to before you were born. Is often said, well, I was dead for 1 million years before I was born, or I wasn't around for 1 million years before I was born. Why should after I'm dead bother me? And, you won't experience it. These are solutions to the problems of what an individual feels like, which is very personal, self-directed, internal. But it's possible. I've literally never met you before this call. 6 minutes ago, I didn't really have a concept of your existence at all. But it's possible that the solution to this is not to examine what it's like to, what the concept of what it's like to be dead and to realize that that's not a thing, but to examine what it is like to live a life the way that you want, because that will have always been after something that we would call your existence has ended.
And that's the other problem I have, which I don't know if they bring up with this college creator. I became an atheist I was kind of an atheist already, but my trouble with becoming an atheist was I didn't want to accept that there was no afterlife. I was pretty much there, completely. I was just like really, really hoping that there could be an afterlife. But a year ago, like May of last year, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's a very fun disease that kind of ruins your life. And so supposedly it gets better, but it hasn't gotten better for me. And I'm going to see a doctor in 2 weeks again, and hopefully it'll work. But I'm kind of, because of how my mind works, and like I'm always thinking about death or my ulcerative colitis all the time, just constantly. And so it's
you should distract yourself by thinking about how well society is doing right now.
Oh, God.
Sorry. I wanted to make V sad as well.
That's also that's always fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I've got family members who deal with that as well, and it's not fun.
Yeah. As a quick aside, do you feel that you have a community either of similar people that's, like in a support group, or just in general that you can engage in conversation with either online or in person?
For which, well, I guess not for either. I mean, I'm on the Reddit for Talk Heathen, although I haven't really posted anything. I've just kind of looked at it.
That's good.
Send me a message saying hi. We'll chat about something.
Okay, I'll have to do that if I remember.
That's fine.
Yes. Sorry, I lost my chance.
Yeah, that's because I interrupted you and derailed it entirely. You were talking about how you're going to see a doctor again in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because of the way your mind works.
With the death stuff, so I'm with OCD. I don't know if this is with everyone with OCD. At least for me, I also get the fun of depression, and so the ulcerative colitis doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
The depression any better. And so basically my mind with the death and the ulcerative colitis combined, it kind of goes to, well, my life is miserable. My life is only pain. I can't do anything. My life is over. If I'm going to die, I'm going to be nothing. I might as well just die tomorrow, because why live this life of pain? Why keep going? Like, there's no point to it. There's no point to just being miserable all the time and having to think about it all the time. And like, even though I'm afraid of death, at least in the sense of, it happens, you're gone, you won't have to think about it anymore. Like the thoughts, like, I don't know if it is for you, Jamie, but they're painful. Like they get so intense, they become painful to where the point where, not to get too dark, but basically, I mean, I assume people who are suicidal are kind of the same in the sense is that the thought of suicide starts to feel really good, like almost like a high. And so I don't mean to get so dark on this.
Well, that's why it recurs as a imagined solution to an imagined permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I'm here if you need to talk.
There are also some amazing resources online. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, do you know about them?
Is that like the Secular Therapy Project, or is that something else?
They collaborate with the Secular Therapy Project. I think it originated there. But there's also just a hotline that people who are recovering from religion can call and just talk about stuff. I think you
mean recovering from religion rather than freedom from religion.
Oh, did I say that? Sorry.
You said yeah. I've done that multiple times. The FFRF and the
The RFR.
RFR. They're designed to test my dyslexia, and I fail every time.
Mm-hmm. Recovering from religion. That's
yes, recovering from religion, but having community helps. And I'm sorry that at the moment it feels like there isn't a purpose to your life. But
it's not basically, for anyone who doesn't know what the disease does, it basically makes the bathroom your home forever. And
so that there are
sorry.
There are prominent internet atheist activists who not that exact phrasing, but have described their physical condition as the bathroom. I think it's its second home or where I live or something.
It's my throne.
It's your throne. Yes, the porcelain throne is truly your throne when it is, the frat boy's altar or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the point you're going for there is like there are people who are beloved community members who are out there making a difference online who also have a similar condition, if not the same one. I don't know. But
I don't know the specific diagnosis.
But not to say, just suck it up and do something else. But there are ways to have meaningful and impactful things in your life.
It's true. So if there's one thing that we can learn, and we haven't actually even touched on, I think, at least too much, your whole journey into self-describing as an atheist, there's one thing that we can say that we know, if we're apostates truly, is that we know what it is like to learn that we are wrong. And right now, just as there are Christians who are overwhelmed with guilt because Jesus hates that they indulge being human in the form of masturbation or whatever it is, right now you see no purpose, and your mind, because of the pain, does not allow for the possibility of that purpose or that joy. That's not the case. There are things around the corner that neither you or I envision, and that directly relate to your life. I don't know what will happen with you or for you or around you tomorrow, and neither do you. And there's a little bit of mystery in that. And even if that and the potential of a completely fulfilling, oh my gosh, I won the lottery and my story was written down and became the second Slumdog Millionaire of a movie and won an Oscar or whatever, even if that is what you would be happy with, and even if it doesn't happen, if nothing else, and yes, this is very self-serving, right now you're calling into a show and prompting conversation about this question.
Yeah.
And you are not the only one that suffers in this way. And other people will hopefully find some comfort or understanding or feel less alone and lost because of, if nothing else, this call. And actually, that way is incredibly meaningful because then you're helping other people that feel the way that you do. It's precisely the reason, or one of the reasons why I do this show and why I do what I do, is there are people that think I'm the only atheist in my town, in my city, that are wrong. One, but that two, need to feel less alone and need to know that there are people for atheism that think and see the world the way they do, and in your case, that experience the world the way that you do.
I don't know, with the atheism, sometimes a lot of times I kind of wish I could just believe in God again, just so that, because then when the death stuff would come up, it just wouldn't, there wouldn't be anything. It'd be like, oh, you go to heaven or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of times I even think, I'd even be okay with going to hell. Like, even though, it'd be burning, and I'm sure if I was in hell, I'd be like, no, I'd rather be nothing. But just
something other than this, something different.
Like the concept of non-existence, and as I said, the consciousness, like your consciousness ending. It's just such a, and sometimes I wonder if it's because of my OCD, like I'm always constantly thinking, so the thought stopping is so foreign to me.
Yeah.
It's so I can't even.
It's no, we're doing a thing where we both pause to be polite and then realize the other person is willing to talk and then pause to be polite. It happens with remote communication. For me, I don't think that I have obsessive thoughts the way that you do, the way that you're describing them, but I certainly have racing thoughts from time to time. And I don't know how else to say it other than the short story Flowers for Algernon is a horror story for me. The idea of my mental capacity slowly but surely fading in a way that I can't identify, so that my existence basically changes and my ability to interact with people changes, is more nightmarish than losing all my limbs or my ability to speak even, or communicate with people around me. And so the idea of attachment to your thoughts and your mental processes is something that I can very much sympathize with, and I forget whether sympathy or empathy is the one that is closer, but both or either of those, whichever one is stronger, is what I feel for that. And so the most I think I can offer you on this call is to say, I'm not you, but you are not alone. And I understand you, I think, as well as I can, given that I'm not you.
Yeah. I'd like to say, because I'm looking at the comments too. I'm just for people in the comments whoever said medication, I'm going to see a psychiatrist again in 2 months. Although it's kind of funny, I was on an antidepressant before, and one of the side effects of it was ulcers. And so it could be the cause of my ulcerative colitis. I don't like antidepressants. They just kind of, I don't know. I know there's some that make you happy, but whatever one I was on just made me like numb to everything.
Yeah. That's more common, right? Like it's not the normal human condition to always be happy. Which is, advice that every drugged out rock star should take. But
I don't mean that it makes you happy, but it's like the one I was on made me feel nothing to anything.
Yeah, they're designed largely to reduce the extreme emotions.
Like I probably could have killed somebody on it, and I wouldn't have felt anything.
Yeah, you got.
I'm going to go ahead and say, don't test that. Don't test that theory. But one of the things that the comments are saying is, companionship and family, and they're also suggesting a lot of recreational drugs, which I'm not suggesting either personally or in my capacity as a show host here.
It actually made me more depressed somehow. So I don't.
Oh yeah. Well, then don't do that.
Yeah.
What I would say, it's part of why I asked, do you have community? Do you have people you can talk to? Do you have people that you can?
No, I guess I'm kind of alone right now. Like, because I go to college, right? Like I'm studying engineering.
Oh, Cool.
I mean,
I am not capable of discussing the finer points of anything engineering with you at all. I can't do calculus, so.
Calculus is so much fun. But
You know what?
We need people like you in this world to understand calculus.
We do. Yes. I thank you for understanding calculus. Good for you to do. I'm fine over here.
Don't give me any English stuff. That's just too painful.
You know what? I'm happy to do as much talking in them English words as I can for you.
Oh, I meant like writing, but yeah, okay.
I'm happy to do that as well. Yeah. What I will say is, I think we're reaching a time control issue where I need to move on to other callers, but stay in touch. Finding people and communicating with people online is not the same as communicating in person, and it can make you go off the deep end into rabid, obsessive land. But, bad phrasing, but it's always better to not be alone, and I hope that you stay in touch either with the show, but primarily with a community of people that can address some of those concerns.
Okay. And